Hey guys, so it's Matt from Dynamic Therapy here again, here at the basement. So following from the last one we talked about, one of the more common problems we see with regards to low back issues is an inability for people to activate their glutes when they're going through some of those kind of compound movements, so that being your squats, your deadlifts, some of those hinge movements. We see it predominantly with a lot of those sedentary people who have more sedentary jobs, so meaning you're an office worker, you're spending a lot of time behind a desk, as well as with a lot of endurance athletes, because they become what we call hamstring dominant, so meaning that their activation, their posterior chain activation is not really where it needs to be. And what ends up happening is you are then predisposing yourself for SI issues, for lower lumbar issues, because you just don't have the activation. You're just not aware of how to fire those guys. So there's 1,000 different ways you can activate those glutes, and John and these guys here at the basement can help you do that. If you have any specific questions, or feel free to hit us up with the comments down below, and we can surely answer any of those questions you have. But what I mean by glute activation is when you're going through some of those compound movements is really consciously being aware of squeezing your glutes first. So before you get into those movements, squeeze the glutes, push the heels on the floor, and then go through those movements. And if you're not conscious about going through that movement and squeezing the glutes first, typically people will fall on bad patterns, and then you're leading yourself into setting yourself up for those low back injuries. So I think a lot of you out there are probably understanding what I'm talking about, in the sense that you've probably experienced this before. A lot of these things may check some boxes for you. So if you have any questions about that, or if this rings any bells for you, feel free to watch the next video and hit us up if you have any questions. Okay guys, so as we just mentioned, so one of the biggest problems we see with regards to these compound movements is an inability to activate the glutes. And so John and I are going to kind of run you through just a couple of basic movements. So predominantly your squats and your deadlifts, which are obviously two of the more common compound movements you're going to see. And so what I mean by engaging glutes, and this is often very difficult to do, so you're probably going to have to start to lighten your weight when you first try these. And then as it feels more comfortable, one, you're going to be more stable and be in a safer position. Two, in the long run, you will actually generate more power because your glutes should be your power guys. So what I mean by when I say activate the glutes is before John even starts to drop, he's going to push his heels into the floor and really try to squeeze those glutes in. So almost try to drive the heels towards each other. Okay? So you're really almost going to try to externally rotate and try and squeeze those glutes together. And now, while holding that and keeping proper form through the upper body, you're going to slowly lower, good, and try to maintain this activation throughout. What people often start to do is that they get to the bottom, as soon as they start to drop into the hole, the glutes will deactivate. Okay? So what we need is, I don't know if you guys can tell or not, but John is activating throughout the movement, and then again, as he comes out of the hole, squeeze, so drive through the heels and activate throughout the entire movement. Okay? So again, it's one fluid motion when you get to the top. For people who are having a difficult time activating, what you can do is disengage, re-engage, and go through it again. The more times you go through that repetition of engaging and dropping through the motion, the stronger you're creating that loop from basically from the brain down to the glutes. Okay? So it's called the neuromuscular adaptation. So we're trying to regroove that every single rep. Okay?
Do you even lift?
Doesn't look like it.
Well, I don't know. Yeah.
Everybody's a peanut gallery. The peanut gallery over there.
There wasn't time.
Be a hard gainer.
Yeah, there wasn't time back in the day, back in the glory days.
Pre-kids, pre-marriage.
Yeah. Back when I gave a shit.
Yeah. Health professionals is worse than
Yeah,
the
yeah.
preach, right?
Exactly. It's always the mechanic that's a banged up guy.
The nurses are smoking out back. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, buddy.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So, hey guys, back again. So the second video we're going to take you through would be the deadlift motion. So again, same idea. The primary goal here is to maintain glute activation throughout. So I'm going to get John to set up in front of the bar here. Yeah. Perfect. Look at this. On point. Almost like he's done this once or twice before. Okay, so again, he's going to get down, grab the bars if he's in the lift. So again, first things first. So obviously we're keeping the upper body, we're going through all the proper cues there to make sure the chest is out, lumbar stays straight. And then again, before he lifts, now if you're having a difficult time, now this is a difficult movement because, to keep the glutes activated, because the glutes are on length. So when they're on length like that, it's going to be more difficult to keep them activated, to keep them fired. So John's pretty good at it because it's not his first rodeo, but if you're having a difficult time, some of the ways you can do it would to almost compensate or to cheat to start to get the movement down would be to go into a wider stance, to go in more of that sumo stance where your feet are outturned. When you do that, you're putting yourself in a better position to be able to activate those. Okay? So we all depends on what your goals are, but this is a nice way to try to learn the pattern. Once you get this down, then you can transfer that into your typical RDL. Okay? So Again, same idea. John's going to get engaged before he lifts off the floor, moves fire, pushes through those heels, and drives his way through, thrusting way through. So you see, he's got great form at the top, thrusting those pelvis, that pelvis through rather, keeping engaged, and then again, a nice slow eccentric, so slow way down again. Take a nice deep breath, and as you're exhaling, keep glutes activated. Okay? So the key is throughout the entire movement, and like we talked about last time, you can drop, once he gets to the bottom of the rep, again, disengage, engage again, and drive. So it's all about repetition. Every rep that you go through, you're going to re-engage those glutes, maintain that activation throughout the lift. Okay? Again, it's going to feel a little bit awkward, so you probably have to lighten the weight to start. Once you start to get that pattern down, everything else will fall in place. I mean, you're going to be safer, and you're going to be going to eventually generate more power. Okay, guys. So we just teleported our way over here. So just to kind of wrap this up, again, I understand that if this is somewhat new to you, it's going to be a difficult movement to kind of understand and really to master. So it's really going to depend on the individual and where their deficiencies are. So if you can't really seem to grasp these concepts, or you're not really sure, or maybe you're interested in kind of what else you can do to really hammer down that glute activation, come check out John and these guys at the basement, or hit us up, and we can certainly answer any questions you have. And we hope to see you guys all out soon. Okay, comment and like below. Thanks, guys.